The first huge load for a big new client.
Traditionally, their work goes to another heavy haulage contractor, so it's all about showing we can get this piece of cargo through with no issues.
In trouble before it's even left the yard.
We ain't going anywhere. We're 200 mil more than what we are legally allowed to travel on the road.
The contract of John Kelly's career. Will his man management skills wreck it on the first move?
John abuses everyone and tells everyone they're useless.
He's got the tact of a bull ant.
But there's another big delivery to take care of first.
The biggest contract this company's ever seen, and I'm about to have my second child.
I hope it's a girl. We don't need any more John Kellys.
On the eve of the biggest day of his life, boss John Kelly faces a revolt at work and at home. The heat's on to spend more time with his family, from both his wife...
Joanne's made it perfectly clear that I haven't dedicated enough family life.
...and his frustrated drivers.
Yeah, look, John being on sides, it's a bit of a kick in the guts. He comes in and wants to interfere and micromanage.
He's still trying to do the whole lot himself.
It's hard for me to commit to family life when I'm so involved with the business and so involved with trucks.
When you get a lot of trucks and a lot of blokes working for you, you have to start trusting the blokes you employ to do the job.
I can't let go at this point in time. You know, the business comes first, and that's probably one of my biggest downfalls.
It's 10 a.m. at the depot. An anxious John is just hours from two major deliveries.
It's a pretty big deal to comprehend. We're just about to enter the biggest contract that this company's ever seen, and I'm about to have my second child. It's a bit of a double whammy. I don't know what I'm more nervous about, second baby or taking on the contract.
But first, John has another critical delivery to make, one that could land a lot more work if he gets it right. It's a Caterpillar 993 loader for a brand new client. The MegaTruckers have 5 days to haul it 3,400 kilometres from the manufacturers in Brisbane to a shipyard in Darwin. Weighing in at 138 tonnes, it's one of the biggest and highest diggers in the world.
Traditionally, their work goes to another heavy haulage contractor that has a bit of a stronghold over this sort of work.
To impress the new client, John has assigned his best man to the job, head driver Dave.
John's reputation, his name's on the line. It's a thing worth $2.5 million. Well, customer would be pretty dirty if it didn't get there in one piece.
Dave's first step is to load the giant Caterpillar onto the trailer. But then John arrives. Despite a wife about to give birth, the boss can't help himself and takes over.
First thing, we want to check the machine and make sure, A, it's the right machine. Nothing worse than putting the wrong machine on and transporting it halfway across the country. And don't laugh, that has happened before. 5.1 exactly. We want to make sure that the width the client has told us it's the right width, the height is correct. We've got no tolerance whatsoever with our permitted height, so if the machine itself is over 4.3 metres high, we're in trouble. Not even close. 4.5 metres high, because we ain't going anywhere. We're 200 mil more than what we are legally allowed to travel on the road, so now we've got to work out a scenario on how to get the machine back to travelling height.
Changing permits can take 4 weeks. That's not an option. Time for a more ingenious solution.
How much give will we get out of those tyres? We've got a $35,000 or $40,000 crane option to lift the machine and remove the tyres, which doesn't help anyone. Or we've got a $1.50 option, and that's letting the air out of the tyres. And we're letting down 4 of the biggest tyres you've ever seen in your life with 10s, would you believe?
It works. Letting just enough air out of the tyres means John can reduce the height of the digger by 200 millimetres, and driver Dave can still transport it safely. Back at the depot, John is cutting it fine for his other precious delivery.
We're busy on the work front, we're busy on the baby front. Got to have Joe at the hospital by 12 o'clock today. Baby's due at 2:30, so the threat was I was going to leave here at 6 minutes to 2:30. But no, I better do the right thing. Joe's a very patient woman, but I don't think she's that patient. Good luck with everything. Thanks, phone. Bye-bye.
I'm happy to see that he's sort of got some sort of normal life other than this.
I keep John out of our hair a bit more if he's got to spend some bit more time at home. Yeah. That's one bonus out of it for us, I suppose.
Good luck, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Wish you all the best.
Thanks, mate. Hopefully we have a human being.
I hope it's a girl. We don't need any more John Kellys.
Driver Dave is on his way to Darwin to deliver a 138-tonne loader. It's a gamble for boss John not to have him on the $100 million contract. But out here, the head driver is in his element.
I love this job. It's just being out there, just getting out there and doing it. And once you're out of town and you're out on that highway, you know, it's just so relaxing. You're cruising along, stick the window down and suck that big heap of country air in, turn the aircon off for a while. I wouldn't sort of change it.
Dave and the team have a deadline to meet. But right now, they have a pressing problem.
Nothing worse than getting 5 minutes down the road and we need to be pulling up again.
Copy, Gaz. Copy, go, mate.
I'll call the pilots up and let them know that we need to pull over.
You want to pull up? Right, mate, mate.
One that perfectly illustrates the challenges of life on the road.
There's not many toilets out here in the bush other than nature. It's that time of morning and Judy calls.
You haven't got the paper, have you?
In Brisbane, the MegaTruckers are about to start the biggest job they've ever tackled. It's a 3-year contract hauling hundreds of components to a gas gathering facility. It's so big, new dad John can't keep away.
Joanne and I had our second healthy baby boy, Joshua. Pretty exciting. He was born at about 3:15 this afternoon, so 4.5, 5 hours later I'm down here at the wharf trucking.
When John turned up there, quite a few of us said to us, well, what the f is he doing here, you know?
A couple of the boys turned around and looked real strange. Said, did you just have a baby? I said, yeah, 3 o'clock this afternoon. They just shook their heads.
I think he was busting himself to get down there to make sure we were doing it properly.
Before we've even done the job, we've probably spent over $10 million just in additional equipment to service this contract completely. So it's very, very important that we perform, especially on the first shipment.
With head driver Dave on the road to Darwin, John will rely on the rest of his A-team. Veterans Brad, Keith and Fredo.
Fredo was a bit of an icon when I was a real young bloke, 15, 16. He was a big-time operator.
Fredo's old school. John likes to think he's old school, but he's a young fella. Hey, John's got a lot of ability. At the end of the day, you just can't beat years of experience.
Fredo came to the organisation with all the experience in the world prior to even HHA even existing. So it was a pretty big deal.
With so much experience and some mighty egos dockside, tonight's mega move was running perfectly well without the boss.
You know, we'd handle the job for him. He knows we wouldn't let him down. He should really be with his family.
Yeah, you just can't control everything that happens in a business this size. You have to rely on the blokes you got working for you.
The end of day 3 to Darwin, and driver Dave's on cooking duty.
Follow kitchen rules of master chef. This is the highway chef, mate. Bit hungry today. We've been eating the crutch out of a low-flying duck. We've got pork, steaks, bit of peas and carrots. Oh, good for you. Good for the eyes, they reckon. Bit of potato, bit of the old mash. A couple of secret herbs and spices, the old garlic. The old all-purpose. Yep. Puts hairs on your chest. Got a few of them. Share them around.
Despite the jovial mood at dinner, Dave's aware of the challenges ahead.
This machine, it's not only getting it loaded, it's making sure that we're doing the right thing all the way to Darwin. Tomorrow's D-Day, mate. Tomorrow's Catherine Weighbridge. We'll see how we go.
It's 6 a.m. and Dave's up bright and early for his moment of truth.
Copy, Weighbridge. Weighbridge.
His truck and trailer are about to be weighed. On the back is the giant loader destined for Darwin.
This is a heavy load coming through. At 150 odd tonne on this platform, it's pretty big. You don't get many of them.
The authorities have the ultimate power to stop the whole operation in its tracks, park it up, do not pass go, do not collect your $200, end of the line.
Truck weight is vital on the hot outback roads, where surface temperatures can hit 50, turning bitumen soft.
This loader, it was absolutely critical that the axle weights were bang on the money.
If we're excessively over, it'll be parked and it'll be made to either unload it and get another trailer or try and shift the load to get it right. So, I mean, you're talking cranes, you're talking everything, mate.
That can cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars having your equipment sit on the side of the road waiting for an authority check.
The truck has scales on board. I mean, you know, they are a guide, they're not within 100% accurate.
As Dave inches his truck onto the scales, there's something else weighing on his mind.
It was only a few weeks ago, young Ryan was up there and he got knocked off.
Driver Ryan was grounded when his truck was over its permitted weight at another station in the Northern Territory.
So I try and lose 6 tonne. Yeah, we didn't go too well here.
Getting him back on the road cost John $15,000. Ryan almost missed his deadline.
Your heart's in your mouth, mate, like, especially when you start rolling on there and you see the lights, you know, to start weighing each axle. You're just thinking all the time, shit, what are they going to get me for today?
We're just checking the permit to see if it corresponds with what he's applied for and what's legal.
Remain confident, show no fear. Hopefully that works. If not, doghouse is out the back.
If he doesn't comply, he doesn't go anywhere.
Oh, come on in a bit, fellas. Move that tape in.
He'll also be fined $1,000 for every tonne he's over.
Very costly exercise, mate, if you get it wrong. Hopefully these guys will say it's all okay. So I'm just about over it.
He's allowed 30 tonnes per axle group. Any heavier, that's a fine. And the entire job grinds to a halt.
If it was any more than that, the bitumen hasn't got time to recover, and that's for you're going to get damage done to the roads, potholes, what have you, ripples.
Hopefully these guys will say it's all okay. So I'm just about over it. How'd we go?
Yeah, I went in the office and he had that expression on his face, and I'm thinking it's going to be close here.
Right on, you didn't have much to spare at all.
All right.
Right on your weights.
Lucky I drank all those beers last night, then I emptied the fridge out.
Drained all the fuel.
He said I just passed.
30 tonne per row. And as you can see, he's 29.8, 29.3, 29, so he's right up there on his weights. He gets to drive another day. Just. He's very lucky.
When you get all the boxes ticked, mate, jump back in your truck and wipe the sweat off your brow and sort of just say, that's over, and just start cogging it out of there in a big hurry.
In Brisbane, the MegaTruckers are in the middle of their biggest ever contract.
We've worked all night to get the smaller crates off, so now we're in the big business. We're about to lift the first 2 big skids.
And Boss John is out to impress his new client.
Presentation's 9/10 of the law. That's what we try and strive. Every single piece of equipment in the fleet, the best presentation, the most immaculate gear we can run.
Oh yeah, mate, we're all about the image down here. It's a big show. This is John Boy's 5 minutes of glory.
The first of the big boxes weighs in at 140 tonnes.
One of the major pieces of the puzzle for the gas project that's worth about, I think, $16.8 million, the larger ones. You know, just under $100 million worth of cargo we've loaded out today in the last 24 hours. We're dealing with some serious coin. That's only going to come 50 mil out this side, Brad.
Yeah. It's just another day, but, you know, we know John's going to be fairly towy, so we just got to accept that, I suppose, on the day that he's got a lot of pressure on his shoulder, and we just get him do the job like we do every other day of the year.
About 5.72 metres high, so we've done all our permits for 5.8, so we've got just under 100 mil to spare, so our calculations have been spot on.
With the first load on the trailer and more to come, it's veteran Fredo's job to make sure they're secured properly.
The lashing points allow us to secure the cargo to the trailer itself, to save a load rolling or a load slipping or a load moving under harsh braking or in an accident.
These machines, because they're worth so much money, they've got to be restrained in a certain way, so everything's got to be done, followed all the plans and everything that John's sorted out for the contract.
Fredo, when this lands, just make sure before you move off and do anything, you put at least sort of 4 to 6 chains on it. And what we want to do is we want to land the cargo on the trailer. We want to put some temporary lashings on it so we can move it over to our secure area and then finish the lashing point. The most critical thing is actually loading the trailer correctly in the first place.
Just whack 160 on there, Chevy, right? We'll handle it.
After his narrow escape at the Weighbridge, driver Dave arrives in Darwin on time.
Yes, mate, this is it. Downtown Darwin. Journey's over. Everything's successful. Another day, another 50 cents. Life and times at Heavy Haulage Australia.
Job done, conquering almost 3,500 kilometres of harsh outback. Time for a weekend off. Until the phone rings.
Yeah, just had the phone call. Not happy. Looking forward to a bit of R&R in Darwin, but shit's hit the fan in Brisbane, and unfortunately it looks like I'll be on a bird.
Dave is urgently needed in Brisbane. Boss John may have pushed one of his drivers too far.
What drugs is that on?
In the middle of the MegaTruckers' biggest contract, a crisis is unfolding.
I was home in bed and I woke up and I see 3 missed calls from Fredo, and by the time I got over here, Fredo had already told John to stick it up his arse and left.
On the way to work, I thought, this, I'm not putting up with this shit.
We do have a couple of low bridges heading up this way, and there's a...
Last night, it was Fredo's job to make sure the loads were lashed properly.
John had a quick walk around and spotted that it wasn't quite 100% or how it was supposed to be done, and just absolutely went ballistic. Started giving Fredo some, and Fredo wasn't there to defend himself, which is probably the wrong thing to do.
I heard back from the boys the next morning, and on the way to work, I thought, this, I'm not putting up with this shit.
Sign on that JSA, please. So everybody. There was a bit of... Did you hear about that John went off last night? He said that the loads weren't lashed properly and he wasn't happy, and, you know, blah, 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 blah. And then it got taken out of context that I was rubbishing Fredo directly, which wasn't the case at all.
There was no yelling or screaming. I just cleaned my gear out of my truck, gave John my phone back and said, thanks very much, but no thanks. You don't trust anybody, so I'm out of here.
I can't tell these fellas how to drive their truck. They know better than me. But...
Everyone here has had me on one occasion or other saying, listen, this is how you do it, that's how you do it, that's not good enough, I expect this, slow down, whatever, you know. Whereas Fredo, you know, up until that time, we never had words. So it was very disappointing that he walked based on the fact that I probably gave him the most reins out of anyone in this organisation.
You can go through half a dozen blokes, come and go, until you get one that sort of knows his shit and you know, will get in knuckle to knuckle with you with anything you do, you know. Fredo's just that type of bloke. He's a team player. That's why it's a bit sad that sort of it ended up like it did today.
All right, let's go.
Tonight is only a 35-kilometre journey, but down a key player, driver Dave on his way back from Darwin, and morale low, it'll be a tough challenge, especially when the boss still wants to micromanage.
How can we go down to metre 50?
I was just at 5'7". They just wanted to, because I had 5'6", at the front, 5'7", at the back.
Permits at 5'8".
You're not worried about them?
11.25, mate. You've got to be paranoid about absolutely everything that goes on a night like tonight, so the boys love to have their best game on and hopefully they do a good job.
John Boy's a little bit up in arms, he's a little bit nervous as he is. He's like a pregnant father walking down when we start a new job, but he'll settle. As soon as we start going down the road, he'll settle down a bit.
It's a big night, a really big night. We've got to get it from the wharf to the storage yard, which is a mission on its own. Low bridges, power wires, traffic.
You have a key operator go and you're one man down and the workload increases on everybody else. They've done a good job so far, so hopefully they can roll it out and everything goes according to plan.
After 3 hours, the under-strength MegaTruckers make it to John's storage depot on the other side of the city.
Yeah, the night went pretty well. Everyone was tired and John Boy was down there expressing his concerns and, as per usual, putting everyone off their game.
I think the boys work very, very well under pressure. I think they actually work even harder to try and prove me wrong. They did a sensational job, made really, really good time. All in all, they've done a great job.
But the loss of Fredo is still raw.
If you would have said just, boys, we've got to throw a few more chains on this, it wouldn't have been an issue.
He's got the tact of a bull ant, so yeah, he needs to be slapped around a bit to get a few people skills in order.
And he's got to learn to just, you know, he's got nothing good to say, probably just shut the up.
The next morning, head driver Dave is back from Darwin to help unload the $100 million cargo. And he's not happy.
We've all been putting in some big hours around here lately, and we just really didn't need to lose a guy at this point in time, especially Fredo, mate, with the amount of experience that guy's got.
Timing of losing a couple of resources at the moment isn't exactly perfect, but boys have done a pretty good setup, so we're just short on a couple of guys at the moment. We're just that bloody busy with work and what's going on.
At the end of the day, look, he just needs to have a bit more trust in his blokes, mate, in his men.
John's one of these guys that will just launch at you, tear you another ass, rip a bit of skin off you, but 5 minutes later, it's all over. So if you just let John have his
5 minutes and let him get that shit off his chest, well, you just get on with it.
But the boss is not backing down.
I'm really nowhere with Fredo at the moment. Like, at the end of the day, the door's open. He's the one who shut it. He's a competent operator, and I don't need to chastise him about what needs to happen. And he knows that he will struggle to find, a crew like us to work with. So, but if he wants out, he's got out. It's pretty simple.